Have you ever wondered what life will really be like after 75? Forget the sugar-coated stories about golden years and peaceful retirement. The truth is far darker, and no one is talking about it. Aging is not just about getting wrinkles and gray hair. It's about your body betraying you, your mind slipping away, and the terrifying realization that you might die alone, forgotten, ignored, and helpless. But it doesn't have to be this way. Today, we're revealing 7 shocking truths about life after 75 that most people don't know, and how you can avoid the worst outcomes. These are not just uncomfortable truths. They are life-changing insights that could mean the difference between a miserable old age and a peaceful, meaningful life. Stay with me until the end, because the last truth might just save your life. 1. Your body will betray you, and no one will care. As you grow older, your body will begin to fail you in ways you never anticipated. This isn't about simply getting slower or more tired. This is about your body turning against you when you least expect it. After 75, the human body experiences a rapid decline in muscle mass, bone density, and overall physical function. Your legs, which once carried you without effort, might suddenly feel weak and unstable. Everyday activities, getting out of bed, walking down the stairs, even brushing your teeth, could become painful and exhausting. But the real betrayal isn't just physical. It's how the world will react to it. You might expect your doctor to have answers, but most doctors will dismiss your symptoms as normal aging. That stiffness in your knees, that shortness of breath, that trembling in your hands. They'll tell you it's to be expected. What they won't tell you is that these issues could have been prevented, or at least delayed if you had started taking care of your strength and mobility earlier. Your family? They'll care at first. They'll offer to help you with the groceries, drive you to your doctor's appointments, and maybe even sit with you when you're feeling down. But over time, their patience will wear thin. They have their own lives, jobs, children, stress, and you might start feeling like a burden. Eventually, you'll hear phrases like, "Mom, have you thought about getting some help?" Or, "Maybe you'd be more comfortable in a senior facility." Here's the hard truth. If you don't start focusing on building strength, balance, and mobility now, you could lose your independence sooner than you think. Falls are the leading cause of injury and death in people over 75, and they happen suddenly. One bad fall could mean the difference between living in your own home and spending the rest of your life in a nursing home. Solution: strength training is not optional, it's survival. Even light exercises like bodyweight squats, stretching, and walking can dramatically reduce your risk of falls and fractures. The key is consistency. Your future self is depending on the actions you take today. 2. Loneliness will crush you, even if you have a family. You might think your children will visit you. You might imagine your grandchildren sitting at your feet, listening to your stories. But here's the truth. Most people over 75 see their adult children only a few times a year, if that. Your phone will stop ringing. Your house will be silent. Birthdays and holidays will pass without a call, and when you reach out, you might hear, "I'm busy right now, Mom. I'll call you back, Dad." But they won't call back. Solution: you need to build a support network outside your family. Join local senior groups, reconnect with old friends, and make the effort to stay socially active. Loneliness isn't just sad, it's deadly. Studies show that social isolation increases your risk of death by 50%. 3. Your mind will start to slip, and it might happen faster than you think. Memory loss won't start with big things. It'll be the small details first, forgetting why you walked into a room, misplacing your keys, struggling to remember a name. Then it will get worse. You might start losing track of days, or even years. Conversations will become harder to follow. Eventually, you might forget the names of the people you love most. And here's the terrifying part. It's not just about memory. It's about independence. Once your mind starts to slip, doctors and caregivers will begin making decisions for you. You could lose control over your life, where you live, how you spend your money, even what you eat. Solution: keep your mind active. Studies show that learning a new skill, like a language or an instrument, can slow cognitive decline by up to 30%. You have more power than you think, but you have to act now. 4. Your partner might die, and you'll be left to pick up the pieces. Statistically, women outlive men by 6 to 8 years. If you're a woman, you'll probably have to bury your husband. If you're a man, you might be left without the person who managed your social life, your health, and even your emotional well-being. And here's the harsh reality. If you haven't learned how to cook, clean, or take care of yourself, you'll struggle. If your social life depends on your spouse, you'll become isolated. If you've ignored your finances, you could lose everything. Solution: start preparing now. If your spouse handles the bills, start learning about your finances. If you don't know how to cook, start with simple meals. Independence after 75 is not optional, it's survival. 5. Your children won't want to take care of you. Your children love you, but they have their own lives. They have jobs, children, and stress of their own. They might visit you at the beginning, but as time passes, those visits will become less frequent. Eventually, they might suggest that assisted living would be easier for everyone. And once you're in a facility, you'll lose even more control over your life. Your meals will be scheduled. Your medications will be managed by strangers. Your freedom will shrink. Solution: the only way to avoid this fate is to stay independent for as long as possible. Focus on your health, your strength, and your social connections. The stronger and more capable you are, the longer you can stay in control. 6. If you lose your mobility, your life will shrink to 4 walls. If you can't walk, you'll lose more than your freedom. You'll lose your sense of self. No more walks in the park. No more spontaneous visits to friends. No more independence. And here's the scariest part. Once you stop moving, your health will deteriorate even faster. Muscle loss will accelerate. Your heart and lungs will weaken. Your world will shrink to your bedroom and a wheelchair. Solution: if you're over 50, you need to start focusing on balance and strength training now. Walking isn't enough. Start resistance training, improve your posture, and work on flexibility. Your future self is counting on you. 7. You could die alone, unless you act now. Here's the darkest truth of all. Many people die alone. In a hospital bed. In a nursing home. Sometimes, it takes days before anyone notices they're gone. And it's not just about death, it's about how you live your last days. Will you be surrounded by people who love you, or alone in a sterile room? Will you die with dignity, or as just another name on a clipboard? Solution: start building deeper relationships now. Create bonds with friends, reconnect with family, and make sure you're emotionally connected to the people around you. The strongest predictor of a peaceful death isn't money or health, it's meaningful human connection. Aging is not a death sentence, but ignoring these truths could turn your golden years into a nightmare. But here's the good news: you are not powerless. Start training your body. Strengthen your mind. Build meaningful connections. Take control of your health, your finances, and your emotional well-being. because after 75, life isn't over. But it's up to you to make sure it's still worth living.